From the Hussman School of Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
It all comes down to this weekend for the men's basketball team as the Heels head to the ACC tournament with one more chance to keep the season alive. Good morning and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Olivia Mundorf.
And I'm Joshua Dolgoff. Thanks for joining us. For all of us watching at the Dean Dome, it's safe to say that this was a fun day until we lost. Another chapter of the greatest rivalry in all of sports is in the books after Saturday night's matchup between the Tar Heels and the Duke Blue Devils in the Dean Dome. The Carolina family was out in full strength to support the Heels for their final senior night and final regular season game. The Heels got the offense going early by pounding the ball down low to Armando Bacot. They also got out and ran, giving Caleb Love this and one layup in transition. But Duke's interior presence was too much for the Tar Heels, with Kyle Filipowski manhandling the Heels' big men down low. The score was tight at half, with Duke holding a 2-point lead. But the Heels' offense struggled in the second half. R.J. Davis provided a spark with his perimeter shot making, but Duke's defense made it hard for the Heels to get easy looks. Filipowski continued to give the Heels trouble, hitting key buckets to keep Duke steady. The game was tight down the stretch with both teams going back and forth. Down one late in the game, Leaky Black got a great look at the rim, but didn't make the easy floater. And Duke's Jeremy Roach came down the other way and hit a clutch layup over Bacot to give Duke a 3-point lead. With 8 seconds left, last chance for the Heels, Caleb Love couldn't get his final prayer to drop, and Filipowski finished off the Heels with a layup, giving him his 22nd point of the night. The Heels dropped their final game of this disappointing regular season, 62-57.
I would say it was consistent with the first two game over in Durham. I would say it's probably more consistent with the close losses that we've suffered this year.
It just seems like this team has been a broken record all season. Let's go to men's basketball analyst Riley Kennedy to break down this heartbreaking loss to our bitter rival. Riley?
Josh, you're exactly right. The Tar Heels' chances of making the NCAA tournament are very slim after losing to Duke on Saturday. But they're not totally out of the picture just yet. Couple of transitions. I'll show you what happened in the game. First, UNC has to help their own guys out on defense. So Filipowski is going to get it down low, right? Caleb's going to clear out with Roach because that's where Roach is going. Now, Filipowski has Jalen Washington on an island. What does an island mean? Well, he's going to take him one-on-one. Now, we had a little banter back and forth yesterday with Josh, Olivia, and they're like, Riley, what would you do differently on defense? Well, what I would do is, you're not making Filipowski do anything, right? You're not making him think. Make him think. Make him make those extra passes. I'm going to pinch Caleb. I'm going to pinch Leaky. I'm going to pinch these guys down. I'm going to make him make that pass to Roach, right? I'm going to make him think about that. And then all these guys, like, they can adjust. They can rotate over. Make them make those extra passes. Filipowski just puts his head down and spins and gets right to the rack, right? Something there's no help defense. It's been like that all season. Now, the last play, what went wrong? Filipowski misses this shot, right? 19 seconds left. He misses a free throw. It's a 3-point game, right? Carolina has a chance to tie it. They don't call a timeout, which I like this. Now, Caleb's going to set a pick. Bacot's going to set a pick. Caleb's going to come out and get that ball. I don't know if RJ didn't like this one-on-one matchup with Lively. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the play drawn up was. He passes it to Caleb, and Leaky's going to set this pick, right? Who won this play? Jeremy Roach. He has two things he can do, right? He can go under the pick, which is going to let Caleb Love shoot that shot. He's going to step over, and he's going to stay with Caleb, right? He's going to contest that, and it's going to let Filipowski come in and contest that and close out. Caleb shoots up a prayer, misses it. Duke gets out in transition and wins by 5. Josh, UNC didn't make a field goal in the last 4 minutes of the game. That can't happen. If the Tar Heels are going to make the tournament, it starts with execution of the little things. Back to you guys.
Let's hope for the best in Greensboro this week. Thanks, Riley.
You know, Joshua, we waited in line together all day on Saturday to see this game, and we had a lot of fun, but this was a disappointing outcome. What do you think went wrong for the Heels in this game?
I mean, for me, it's simple. They just didn't put the ball in the basket, shooting 30% from the field, 22% from three-point range, and then 0 for 7 in the last 4 minutes down the stretch. It's going to be hard winning games shooting like that, and it's been a theme for the Tar Heels all season, but this time, the Tar Heels might have just shot themselves out of the NCAA tournament.
While the result wasn't what Tar Heel fans hoped for, students stayed in line for hours, making their presence known before college game day. Colin Tadlock was there.
Just listen to the crowd at 7:30 a.m. on a cold Saturday morning. As early as 5 o'clock, both students and fans lined every side of the Dean E. Smith Center, vying for a seat for College Game Day, the pregame show broadcast before the Duke-Carolina game later in the day.
Got here a little bit before 8 o'clock. I got some riser tickets, so I'm really excited for the game.
7 hours before tip-off, many students were already painted up and ready to go. Carrying signs, costumes, and even a bite to eat, the students in line wrapped halfway around the entire building, from 7 to around 8:30 when doors opened for College Game Day. Whether in line for their Phase 1 tickets or a seat for the broadcast, it was clear that Tar Heel students were ready to give it everything they had for the 11-hour day. Best signs of the day? Jay Billis regrets his school choice. Coach Shire sleeps in jeans. And my personal favorite, we still hate Christian Leighton. Looking back 24 hours later on the long day, many Tar Heels, if given the chance, would happily do it all over again.
As much as it was like a super, super long and tiring day, it was also just like one of those experiences that I think as a Tar Heel, you know, you would never pass up.
I'm Colin Tadlock reporting.
There's nothing like College Game Day in Chapel Hill. It was complete chaos Saturday morning. Olivia, I saw you were out there making your ESPN debut before game day tipped off.
Yeah, I had the coolest experience to do a segment on ESPN's Countdown to Game Day on Saturday, talking all about the big matchup with our directors, Daniel Masterson as an amazing camera operator. He set up everything behind the scenes, and Aman Patel getting the crowd excited behind me. It was so much fun holding the ESPN microphone, and getting to prepare all week is something I will never forget.
And it won't be the last time we see you on there. Let's go to Greensboro. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. That's a lesson the women's basketball team became all too familiar with on Friday as the Heels took on Duke in the ACC tournament. Both teams started slowly, but Deja Kelly got the offense going early with his and one in the second quarter. The Heels took a 5-point lead into the half, but coming out of the break, their offense sputtered. Clinging to a 2-point lead going into the fourth quarter, Carolina desperately tried to put the Blue Devils away, but shots just didn't fall. The Heels put up only 4 points in the pivotal final quarter, and they let Duke ice the game at the free throw line. Down 3 late, Kennedy Todd Williams went to the step back and got her shot blocked by Duke's Reagan Richardson. Duke hit one last free throw and took the game 44-40.
I like a lot of the looks that we had, and we just weren't able to finish them. 2 really good teams, and a great basketball game today. And you never want to be the one that loses, but somehow it's not really fair. Someone's got to lose these games.
The women's lacrosse team welcomed Boston College for a rematch of the 2022 National Championship game on Friday. Freshman Marissa White stepped up and put the Tar Heels on the board with their first goal. The Tar Heels fired off more goals, including this shovel pass Olivia Dirk scored on, with only 2 seconds remaining in the first quarter. By the second half, UNC forced BC's goalie to retire as she had only 2 saves on Carolina's 13 shot attempts. Star attacker Caitlin Wurzberger was sidelined with an injury for the Heels, but Nicole Humphrey, Caroline Godin, and Sophie Student all scored hat tricks, proving Carolina's undeniable depth. The Tar Heels thrashed the 4th-ranked Eagles 16-5. The decisive victory marked Coach Jenny Levy's 400th career win and proved the Tar Heels deserve to be ranked number 1.
It's definitely a program win. There's so many great coaches and student athletes who've been here since the beginning, who've contributed to it. So it's definitely not my own milestone. It's definitely a program milestone.
With more women's lacrosse beatdown, here's Caroline Yaffa. Caroline.
Olivia, the name of the game is defense, defense, defense. And up against one of the top goalies in the country in Rachel Hall, and without one of Carolina's best offensive players, Caitlin Wurzberger, defense was the key to win this game. The combination of Julia Dorsey, Gabby Hall, Emily Knowles, and Brooklyn Walker-Welch didn't allow a BC goal from minute 12:19 in the third to 3:24 in the fourth. The Eagles had been averaging 15.25 goals per game before arriving in Chapel Hill, and here we saw it as the most important factor of the game. So take a look at this. Walker-Welch is playing extremely tight on BC's Jen Medjid. She's not letting her get through whatsoever, and you can see here, not only is she handling the on ball, but early in this game, every single player on UNC knows where the ball is. They're all playing super tight defense, looking at their defenders, but also looking at the ball. But on the offensive side, Riley Casey really stepped up to play Wurzberger's position as quarterback. She not only received passes, but also led the offense herself as a true playmaker does. She definitely made Würzburger proud. So Nicole Humphrey, who was absolutely phenomenal, receives the pass from Riley Casey, doesn't see the opening, passes back to Casey, and she takes a play right out of Würzburger's playbook. She goes through a defender, goes through the goalie, and to score to make it 14-3 for the Heels. We don't know when Würzburger is returning, but it's safe to say that defense will be crucial as the UNC continues this season.
Looking ahead, the next team UNC will face is Virginia at home on Saturday. But Caroline, what do the Heels need to do to keep this momentum going in ACC play?
Well, Olivia, this game proved more than ever that with a healthy team, 100% complete hustle, and the 4 star defenders communicating, UNC will be unstoppable heading into their intense games ahead. After the Virginia game, it's the highly anticipated match versus number 3 Northwestern, and I'm excited to watch.
Thanks, Caroline.
On Saturday, the 12th-ranked UNC men's lacrosse team hosted the University of Denver in a back-and-forth battle. The Pioneers were first to strike, but Logan McGovern responded with an unassisted crease roll to tie the game. The next few goals were back and forth as Denver would take the lead and UNC would quickly respond. Denver started to pull ahead, but a strong transition goal by Carolina brought it to a score of 6-5 going into half. In the fourth quarter, Antonio DeMarco gave the Heels the go-ahead goal, but this time it was Denver that had the speedy response. Senior attacker for the Pioneers, J.J. Silstra, put the nail in the coffin for the Heels as his last-minute goal gave Denver the 9-8 win. The Tar Heels will look to bounce back on Saturday against Brown for Alumni Day.
In a game of home runs and strong defensive plays, UNC softball hit it out of the park with a win against Purdue to open the Carolina Classic. All 5 of the UNC pitchers played Friday afternoon and had a total of 5 runs and 3 strikeouts combined. Kiana Jones hit her second homer of the season with this solo home run in the 5th. Strong defensive play helped the Heels win 4-3. The Tar Heels couldn't keep up the momentum for their second game against Purdue on Saturday. UNC had a total of 8 hits and no runs for a final score of 4-0. On the second day of the Carolina Classic, the Tar Heels faced the James Madison Dukes. It was a picture-perfect day in Anderson Stadium on Saturday, but the Tar Heels didn't benefit from home field advantage. The Tar Heels had opportunities on base but couldn't plate runs and fall to the Dukes 7-1. In the second game of the series, the Heels put the rally caps on, scoring 4 straight to tie the game, with this fly to left that scored beyond the center fielder, opening up the rally. Then what brought the tying runs, this pitch hit bomb to left field for a 2-run shot from Carly Myrtle. Ultimately, the rally didn't hold. The Tar Heels fell 6-5.
After a midweek sweep of VCU, the Diamond Heels were back in action on Friday against Stony Brook. After a low-scoring affair through the first 9 innings, third baseman Matt Horvath sent an absolute bomb to left field to walk off the Heels 3-2. On Saturday, the Tar Heels looked to go up 2-0 against Stony Brook. Horvath continued right where he left off, hitting a homer in the first inning. The Sea Wolves went scoreless until the 4th inning, hitting fly balls and being struck out. Frustration could be shown on the faces of the Stony Brook players, and UNC looked to be on their way to a decisive victory until Stony Brook began mounting a comeback. Fortunately, the Heels maintained control, winning 7-5. And to start off the final game on Sunday, Colby Wilkerson attempted this steal for second to get Patrick Alvarez home, and Wilkerson ended up being safe after a reviewed play. Vance Honeycutt hit this 2-run home run in the second inning to get the first of his 4 runs in the game, and Tomas Frick hit this absolute missile in the 8th inning to score 2 RBIs. UNC scored more in this game than their past 2 games combined, winning 15-4. The Diamond Heels will be back in action against Western Carolina tomorrow at 4 p.m.
UNC club hockey is coming off of one of its most successful seasons in the team's history. One of the keys to that success comes from one of its most unlikely sources. Daniel Masterson has more.
Joel Hughes was UNC hockey's starting goalie for their past season. But Hughes isn't your average club hockey player.
I've been in the Army for 19 years now, and in my last year of service, I'm fortunate enough to be able to go to school here full-time and had the opportunity to play for UNC college hockey team.
Hughes is a 38-year-old Army veteran. In his time in the Army, Hughes served as an infantryman and sniper on numerous deployments in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Southeast Asia. With his experience, Hughes was given the opportunity to become a Green Beret and Special Forces weapons sergeant. And with so much time spent in the military, Hughes found a family within his fellow soldiers.
So although my family was on the other side of the world, I had my brothers to my left and right who were there with me along the way.
After spending so long in the Army, Hughes wanted to go to school and pursue a different dream of his. So nearly 20 years after graduating high school, he set out to get his degree in exercise and sports science.
I'd like to work into professional sports or NCAA athletics as a strength and conditioning coach.
Hughes grew up playing hockey, but after his high school graduation in 2002, he didn't pick up a stick again until 2015. After that, he found that love for the sport once again. So Hughes decided to join UNC's club hockey team when he got on campus. And when he joined, Hughes' new teammates welcomed him with open arms.
The team is super inviting. I was really quiet when I first got here, and I feel like as the years gone on, I've been more comfortable being vocal in certain situations.
In his first season with the team, Hughes anchored the Heels to an 8-3 record when he started with an .886 save percentage. The season is one of the Heels' best in recent memories, bookmarked by key wins over their biggest on-ice rival.
As far as I know, before we got here, we hadn't beat NC State in a game in 7 years, I think.
First and foremost, though, Hughes is a student, and he says that the team has been a big help to him in his transition back to the classroom.
Coming to school and having the outlet of the hockey team, to really rely on, kind of wind down, with the stresses of schoolwork and, academic stress throughout the year.
As Hughes continues to pursue his degree and dream of being a professional strength and conditioning coach, hockey will continue to be a part of his life, and so will the family he's made with Tar Heel hockey. I'm Daniel Masterson, reporting.
Hughes might not know what the future holds for him with hockey, but he'll always remember this amazing season. UNC women's tennis competed against the Louisville Cardinals on Friday at the Chapel Hill Tennis Club. Elizabeth Scotty won the first singles point for the Tar Heels, making her record for the season 12-0 in singles. Reese Brantmeyer and Abby Forbes won their sets for a final score of 6-1. On Sunday, the Heels took on number 14 Notre Dame. The Heels were hot from the start, sweeping doubles play 3-0. The duo of freshman Reese Brantmeyer and senior Elizabeth Scotty took care of business as usual, winning 6-1. Scotty continued her success while playing on her own, dominating in straight sets 6-0 and 6-1. She remains undefeated at 13-0. All eyes were on grad student Abby Forbes as she battled to seal the Carolina win in a tiebreaker match, defeating Fighting Irish Bojana Podzer. UNC topped Notre Dame in a decisive victory 7-0.
I think from now on, it's going to be strictly outdoor. So it'll be nice to kind of get our feet under us. It's just going to be longer points outside versus inside. People are going to be able to get more balls back. But you kind of just have to adjust mentally mainly for it.
The 10th ranked men's tennis team had a big weekend taking on both Notre Dame and Louisville as well, but on the road. On Friday against the Irish, Will Jansen, Brian Cernock, and Carl Poling all won their singles matches. The Heels beat the Fighting Irish 4-2 and improved to 9-4. And on Sunday, the opponent was 20th ranked Louisville. UNC won the doubles point with a strong effort from the duos of Will Jansen and Carl Poling, as well as Brian Cernock and Benjamin Kate. In singles play, Anuj Watane, Poling, and Kate, who clinched the match for the Heels, pulled through with strong wins. UNC wins 4-0.
Coming off an ACC championship sweep, Aranza Vasquez looks to qualify for the NCAA championships this week, along with the rest of the UNC diving team. Fifth-year Anton Down-Jenkins qualified for the NCAA championships in the men's 1-meter on Sunday and hopes to qualify in the 3-meter. Vasquez will be vying for a spot in the 1-meter, 3-meter, and platform competitions. Ahead of NCAA diving championship, our very own Kyle Lobenhofer caught up with Aranza Vasquez to get her thoughts about the upcoming championship.
Aranza, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me.
No problem.
It's truly an honor getting to talk
Thank
to you.
you.
So let's start off with running through just a few of your many accomplishments. Just last year, you placed third in the 1-meter springboard competition.
Yes.
You were ACC female diver of the year and the runner-up in the NCAA's in the 1-meter.
Yeah.
What do you attribute your success thus far to?
I don't know. Probably being so comfortable with my team, being comfortable with my coach, of just communicating with him, being able to just tell him how I'm feeling, tell him what I think I should work on, and him having the same trust and coming to me and telling me what I should work on. I think that connection and that relationship that I have with my teammates and my coach, it's definitely what's bringing me where I am today.
Now you're coming into the NCAA championships with quite a bit of momentum, having just won the ACC's most outstanding diver and taking gold in both the 1 and 3 meter. What do you hope to accomplish in your NCAA championships?
I think one of my dreams since I came here was winning NCAA, so that's definitely my dream. I really want to win the 3 meter springboard, the 1 meter, and final on the platform. I know it's gonna be harder at like a national level. There's so many good platform divers, but I think I can make myself getting the final.
Could you describe what goes through your head right before you perform a dive?
Honestly, I like start singing this song that I last listened to. I try not to get in my head. I'm like trying to think what I have to do, like corrections and stuff. I just like tell myself that I've done the dive so many times, that I've done it good, that I've competed it a couple of times, like I'll be fine. And I try to like not get in my head, so I just like start singing the song that I last listened to. So I just like I'm distracted, but at the same time I'm like focused on what I'm doing.
Sure. Now, before I end my interviews, I like to just do some quick rapid fire questions. It'll allow our viewers to get to know you outside of diving. So if you wouldn't mind, I'm just going to say something and you're going to say the first thing that pops in your head.
Okay.
Favorite pre-competition meal?
Go squeeze.
Now, you mentioned that you constantly singing up on the boards. What song do you most find is coming through your head?
Probably the song Every Time We Touch. I don't know who sings it, but I just like, I love that song. Like it gets me pumped. So I just like listen to it and I'm like singing it while I'm on the board. Yeah.
What is one thing that you can't live without?
Oh God. Probably my phone. Yeah. Definitely my phone. Yeah.
What is your favorite thing to do in your free time?
Read books. I've been on a reading, I've just been reading a lot of books, like not even watching shows, movies, nothing, just books.
Do you have a favorite book?
Probably The Fine Print, and I really like the Red Queen series. That's one of the recent series that I read.
And one last question for you. Who is your biggest inspiration, either in diving or just in life in general?
In diving, there's this Mexican diver, her name is Laura Sanchez. She's one of the I think she's the only girl that's won Olympic medal in this springboard, on 3 meter springboard. So I definitely like admire her a lot. And I think my mom, like just like having her figure to like follow and just keep going for what I want. It's definitely something that I look for. Yeah.
Well, best of luck to you in the upcoming NCAAs, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Aranza and the rest of the diving team will wrap up the NCAAs on Tuesday, and we hope to be talking about another UNC national title afterward. Looking to complete a season sweep at home, the UNC gymnastics team took on Air Force on senior night Friday. Lali Dekanoidze continued to soar on vault, scoring a 9.9, as well as on bars, scoring a 9.925. On floor, Julia Noah rocked out, earning a 9.95. And freshman Gwen Fink competed in the all-around competition for the first time this season and claimed her first all-around win of her career. The Gym Heels defeated Air Force with a score of 196.45, a season best.
Carolina wrestling took the mats on Sunday. Gavin Kay and Austin O'Connor quickly pinning their spots in the finals. In the 184-pound class, Kay bowed to 3-time ACC champion Trent Hindley of NC State with a 2-7 final score. O'Connor, a 5-time ACC finalist, took on Bryce Adonian of Virginia Tech in the 157-pound matchup. Adonian has never beaten O'Connor, and Sunday was no exception. O'Connor triumphed 6-5 and secured his 3rd ACC title. The UNC Husband School of Journalism and Media hosted 2 documentary screenings for Play Today, a deep dive on women's field hockey's undefeated season this past year. On Thursday, more than 200 guests arrived at Carroll Hall. After our instructor, Dr. Tolga, introduced the documentary, the field hockey team's season unfolded on screen win after win. Coach Erin Matson and her predecessor, Karen Shelton, relived their national championship victory alongside those seeing it for the very first time. The night closed out with an introduction of our documentary team and current hockey team, followed by a Q&A session with Matson and Shelton, twins in their Carolina Blues.
They love the game, and they want to win.
That makes 10 national championships for Coach Shelton and UNC field hockey. And while they're all special, there is something extra meaningful about the first championship feeling. For Guilford College, that first national championship came 50 years ago, and I had the chance to travel to Greensboro to cover the men's basketball team's reunion and celebration of their historic accomplishment. 50 years ago, no one thought there would be balloons to celebrate such a historic feat. And no one thought there would be a 50-year reunion to commemorate the first national championship at Guilford College.
It had never been done. Guilford has never won a national championship in any sport.
ML Carr, a leader on the 1973 championship team, enjoyed a successful career in the NBA as a player and coach with teams like the Boston Celtics and Detroit Pistons. Despite the accomplished teams Carr was a part of in the NBA, the ability to bring Guilford a championship at a time before the other North Carolina Blue Bloods existed in college basketball was among his best memories.
We were only the second team in the state. That was before Duke, it was before Carolina, before Davidson. So we knew we were part of something special.
And the entire Guilford community knew there was something special about that 1973 squad, as the team was embraced upon their return to campus.
Everybody just, was just ecstatic when you see a person or anybody you didn't met before. They'd come up to you and shake your hand, and it was just a wild time here for a while.
Another standout on the championship team was Steve Hankins, a former Marine who played for Guilford at 28 years old after his return from Vietnam.
It was kind of like a buffer for me to cool off from being where I was to fitting back into society.
On February 17, 2023, the team gathered back at Guilford College for their 50-year reunion, returning to the hardwood they played many of their home games on. Teddy East, a senior on the championship team, emphasized the magnitude of their 1973 season.
That, to me, was a big deal back then because you're talking about, at that time, hadn't been but two national championships, one in the state of North Carolina.
Through the leadership of East and Hankins, paired with the exceptional talent of players who would go on to have careers in the NBA, including World B. Free and Greg Jackson, and of course, ML Carr, the team was able to complete their goal of winning it all in 1973, a moment of history that the team and those who supported them will never forget.
There will never be a first other than us. We're the first. We led the way.
All right, Joshua. Now, speaking of basketball, we have the ACC tournament this week for the men. What do they need to do in Greensboro this week?
I think Pete Nan said it perfectly after the game. You have to win all 4 games. The team has to win out, get the automatic bid by winning the ACC tournament. It's likely going to start against Boston College in the first round, but I think the big game is going to be Virginia. We beat them in the Dean Dome a few days prior, or in late February. But thankfully, no Miami, no Duke on our side of the bracket. So it's a slim chance, but it's possible. But again, we have to win out at this point.
Yep, take it one game at a time, but got to go all the way. We'll be watching that all week, and we'll have more later on from the men's tournament. That does it for this edition of Sports Extra. We'll be back on Friday with a preview of another exciting weekend of Carolina athletics.